You know, something's really happening right now with women and community, and it's not a trend, it's a structural shift. As we head into the largest wealth transfer in modern history, with women projected to control more than 2/3 of US wealth by 2030. Did you hear that? Women will control more than 2/3 of US wealth by 2030. And you know what? We're not waiting to be invited into existing rooms, we're building our own. And tonight, we have 3 women who are doing exactly that. Each one has built a different kind of community and a different kind of infrastructure. And each is proving that when women lead and gather with intention, the impact goes far beyond the room. All 3 of our panelists are featured leaders and investors in Marble Collective, and each has built something extraordinary in the world of community and connection. Our first panelist is Anne Choquette, CEO of The List. Yeah. Woo-hoo! The List, of course, is one of the country's most respected private communities for high-impact women leaders. She helped launch Cosmo Girl, served as editor-in-chief of 17, and is the author of The Big Life. Please welcome Anne Choquette. Samira Salman is the founder and CEO of Salman Solutions and the creator of Collaboration Circle, an invitation-only ecosystem recognized by Fortune that brings together some of the world's most influential families. With 5.5 billion, with a B, in transactions across 25 years, Samira's career is built on her philosophy that RUM, relationships under management, are the new AUM, assets under management. She is a master connector who turns trusted relationships into powerful thought leadership, centers of excellence, and curated investment alliances. Please welcome Samira Salman. And Kristen Thomas, of course. We all know the incredible Kristen Thomas. She is the founder and CEO of Marble Collective, an AI-powered platform designed to centralize and amplify the work and legacies of remarkable women leaders. Before founding Marble, she built a 2-decade career in New York real estate, where she launched and successfully exited her own brokerage firm. Today, she is focused on building the connective infrastructure that allows influential women to be discovered, followed, and remembered, and to collaborate more powerfully with one another across industries. Please welcome Kristen to the stage. Let's talk about this moment that we're in, this moment where women are coming to the forefront. Our communities are exploding right now. Why? What is happening in this moment? Why do you think this is happening right now?
Thank you for asking me that question. I want to say thank you, first of all, for being here in this room, for all of you who came here on a night where you could be 10 million places with tons of margaritas. Thank you for coming here this evening. The rosé is good. But honestly, we need our communities now more than ever. And I really think, I mean, listen, we always needed our communities, but we have had this tremendous uptick and epidemic of loneliness that has divided and isolated women. The List did some research in partnership with 2 other members of the community at BC, at Berlin Cameron and BSG. 80% of women are lonely because of their jobs.
Wow.
It feels like isolation, it feels like overwhelm, it feels like a lack of support. You do not have to raise your hands. I know that you have all felt this feeling. And this loneliness is preventing women from moving into positions of greater power and influence. 50% of women have turned down a promotion or a job because of the impact on their personal life. But I see it like much more up close on The List. This is a community of high impact women, deeply resourced human beings. If these women are feeling isolated, overwhelmed, and unsupported, you can bet your bottom dollar that everyone is feeling this way. And this is why we need our communities, and not transactional communities, and not your family, your best friends. That's a different kind of relationship. You need people who have your back when it matters most. And we are on a mission, 10 minutes to togetherness. You all got a little togetherness bracelet when you walked in, and if you didn't, I think there'll be some when you walk out. It's a reminder to spend 10 minutes a day intentionally building your community. Reach out to someone, say, how are you doing? I've been thinking of you. You've been on my mind. I'm rooting for you. It's a really simple way to make sure that your community of people who you support will support you in return. You feel like you're walking into a room with that entire community of people.
I love that you said it's not transactional, and I know that resonates with you, Samira. So I want to pivot to you now so that you can talk a little bit about Collaboration Circle, because you are all about making sure that it's about relationships and it's not transactional. So share with the audience a little bit about your philosophy, and when you're talking about it, because I know the group that I know what you're building, and I know that what's associated with it is a feeling that people get when they're in the rooms that you convene. So talk a little bit about that.
Thank you. So when I started working in the private investment industry, I started working for one family, and I went to all these different family office conferences, and my badge used to say family office. And people would come up to me and they would just start pitching. They wouldn't ask me my name, they wouldn't talk to me and get to know me, they just started pitching. And from minute one, I was really shocked at how transactional our industry was. And after going to these things over and over and over, I was like, okay, I gotta find my people. Like, where are my people? I need to find my people. And so I just started hosting these little dinners. And what I believe in my soul is that a small group of people can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. And I said, you know what? If we put the right humans in a room together, in a space that feels safe and comfortable and relaxing, and we have luxurious surroundings and incredible food and drink, this is how we solve big world problems. And so for me, the transactional nature, our nervous systems as human beings are not programmed to be in transaction. We're programmed to be in community. If you think about it intuitively, we had to be in a circle as primitive humans to survive. We had to be in a circle around the fire for survival. And I think you said it earlier that our brains, well, it was Christy, our brains have not, this is exactly correct. Our brains have not iterated as quickly as the technology has, and our physiological systems and nervous systems still need to be in community with each other. So we love technology, but we're also doubling down on the human beings and creating that environment for us to connect and as humans and be in safe, loving spaces, build genuine human connections, and allow the transactions around us. So I flipped the model upside down, and it seems to be working pretty well because we have some Collaboration Circle members in the room. Raise your hands. Thank you.
So, Kristen, I remember when I first heard about Marble Collective, and I thought, finally, somebody is doing exactly what I need. Like so many of us who are tired of having to post on this platform and that platform and promote yourself to let people know what you're doing and how you're doing it, blah, blah, blah. One of the things that's so great about Marble is that you're doing all that for us. So talk about how you came up with this idea and what it is that you want people to understand about what makes Marble different.
Thank you. So we're talking about community and in-person magic and the magic and connection that we all feel in this room tonight, and how nothing technological can ever replace that, right? So Marble Collective is a web and mobile platform. We are an AI-powered platform. We are a technology platform, but our mission is to make the in-between rooms like this, curated dinners like Samira was talking about, where you put people intentionally in the same room together, and you do it with heart to create those connections that you'll never get on a Zoom call, over email, over the phone. What happens the next day is really inefficient. We're all very busy, as you were talking about. We take on the majority of household responsibilities often. We're building big careers. We have negative time for ourselves. So when we do find those moments of in real life connection, we wanted to build something that makes the in-between more efficient. And for women leaders in particular, you see women leaders up on stages, in podcast episodes, you get inspired. But what happens the next day is really hard. You might follow them on social media, and you're going to be fighting the algorithm next to food and all the other things that it wants to show you, and all the news and media inundation that we're overwhelmed by. So what we did is we created a platform that automatically gathers the digital legacy, the digital assets of women leaders. So your press, your podcast interviews, your books, your lectures and videos are all gathered into a centralized public-facing portfolio that anybody in the world can follow, from a student in India to an ambitious professional in New York City, to remove the requirement of self-promotion, so that everybody in this room can find that woman leader up on stage and follow them without them having to constantly promote themselves on social media.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
So, Anne, what are your members telling you right now? What do they need in terms of the community and what it can give them? You talked about the feeling of loneliness that so many are expressing. Where is the need? What is the greatest need right now, and how is the list meeting that need?
So it's interesting. Thank you for asking that question. And I loved the word that Kristen used about intentional, because I think that is the key. There are two core criteria to being a member of the list. You have to be senior in your career, you need some real heft under your feet, and you have to be generous with your contacts, your intel, your advice. Like, you have to pour into the community if you want to get something out of the community. And I think that, listen, not everybody wants to do that, right? That's not for everybody, which is why there are so many communities popping up, and we don't want to be, couldn't possibly. Community is not scalable, right? You can't scale these kinds of human relationships. But what we need to do is to deepen the connection between our members. You can see how many of our members showed up here today for each other. And it is so hard to be an ambitious, high-achieving woman in business. This is a community that never walks into a room alone. 25 of you walked into this room together. We're on a WhatsApp chat. Yes, we're on a WhatsApp chat to making sure that wherever you go, someone has got your back. And that is what we need. We are in these social media spaces where it feels like people are watching you. You have to perform, right? We're in business meetings where it is transactional, and it is, what are your KPIs and how's the number and where's the deck and what's the thing. This is a space, right? Right where I'm sorry, not to give you more anxiety.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Hello? That's why we do not allow PowerPoints at Collaboration
Right.
Circle. They are banned.
Yeah.
The list is a space where you can take an exhale, where you can be in community with other women and non-binary leaders who understand what it feels like and who have been there and can offer their counsel and open their contacts.
And what has to happen in that community is development of a sense of trust, and that's a word that we've heard a lot. We heard a lot of that in the first panel, and I want to talk about trust a little bit right now. It's something that, as I travel around the country, Kristen mentioned the Civil Dialogues, this democracy initiative that I co-founded starting a couple of years ago, and as I travel around the country, it's clear that we don't trust each other. There's a lack of trust in our systems, our infrastructure, our government, in each other, in our family members, in our relationships. And so, part of what we need to do is to create a safe enough space so that people feel that they can trust one another in these interactions. That's what you're doing at the list. I know, Samira, that's what you're doing at Collaboration Circle. Talk more about the unique proposition that you have, and how trust plays a role, especially in families that are very high profile and yet also under the radar? And how do you foster a sense of trust among that community?
So thank you for asking me that question. So when I entered the space, I knew the model was incorrect, but I did not know what the correct model was. And so my strategy was, let me just put the right people in the room, let me make it safe, and let me have the conversations I want to have and that I need to have as a person in this space. And also, for me, I am Lebanese, Sicilian, French, and Irish. I don't eat bad food or drink bad wine, and I wanted really, really good food and wine. So it's like, I'm just gonna put some nice people in the room and have good food and wine. And what I did was double down on what was happening at each different interaction until it grew and grew and grew. And in 2019, they came to me and they said, Samira, we love the people that you're putting together at dinner. We love the conversations. We want to spend some time discussing business before the dinner. So I said, okay. And then after that, in 2019, we tested a couple cities and they said, Samira, we want to do more. We want to spend more time together and take retreats. So the key to building trust is, Christy said it earlier, you have to be authentic. You have to show up as yourself. You get full 100% Samira. Samira is not for everybody, and that's okay. And that's okay. And you have to show up authentically, and you have to listen and be present without an agenda. It does not matter what I want to do. This is not, Collaboration Circle is not Samira Circle. It is Collaboration Circle. So my role is as a vessel, a conduit, a curator. I have to listen. I have to create a space for people to feel comfortable enough to communicate authentically. And when you do that and you listen, then we hear, oh, they want to learn about this, they want to learn about that. So now we've created centers of excellence. Carrie, wave your hands. Carrie's helping us. We have the business of families, the people of families, the legacy of families, the lifestyle of families, the assets of families. We're listening to our families tell us, these are the things that we need help with and we want to learn about. But why are they telling us that? Because we created a safe space to listen, and we did not have to fill it with stuff that we're selling or saying or pushing or whatever. And I feel like this being still and being human together is like a lost art. And that's one of the reasons I've been in the list forever, at least 10 years. And I love it because everybody shows up 100% real in the list. And that is what Kristen's building with Marble. We show up real and we talk to each other authentically. So my invitation for everybody in this room is the next time you're in any group or gathering, show up a little bit more of yourself. And if it doesn't work for everybody in the room, you know what? That's okay. It's okay. Because building trust with civil dialogue. So if y'all haven't been to civil dialogues, you need to go on the website and learn about it. It is remarkable what Linda and Jean have done. I've been to a bunch of them. It is remarkable. You see people from all different backgrounds and sides of the aisle and viewpoints having a common dialogue and conversation because the situation has been created for people to be authentic and build trust. And if each one of us in the room takes that as our mandate, and we do it when we're holding space in other rooms, that's how we change and we create. And ask, what do you think about that, David? Christy, how do you feel? Denise, what is your viewpoint? Create a collective space for everybody to show up and be seen, heard, felt, and understood. And be okay with what they say. Make a space for it.
Like John, my cousin, was talking about earlier, we're all of a certain breed, right? We're all very, very busy, and we work really, really hard, but it's so important to find your community. Every community is a different flavor. We're all a different flavor of a community, and like Ann said, communities don't scale. If they scale, they become uninteresting and unintimate, right? And you know, while Marble Collective is not a community, we're a community right now because we're so small, but the idea is to be an infrastructure between communities because we're in rooms like this, but then what happens the next day? We're all busy. I want to know what people in my community are doing, what they're building, and we all know that everybody in this room are doing and building remarkable things. We're making it a little bit easier to stay plugged into each other between the community spaces that these two amazing women are building.
I love it. Absolutely love it. So, okay, final question, and it's the basic one for all of you. What is the most important thing that you want to leave this audience with today, from your perspective as CEO of the List and all the beautiful community that you have built? What's the one thing that you think people need to understand that maybe they quite don't?
If you want people to show up for you, you have to show up for them. It's 100%. That is the way community works. A lot of people, no one in this room, but a lot of people outside of this room think that community is what can you do for me, or how will I find an audience, or who can I sell to, or what are we going to do together? That is not community. You have to show up for the small things, for the big things. You have to cheerlead sometimes. Not only cheerleading, right? But you have to listen and respond and pour in to a community. And that is the core of the 10 minutes to togetherness. I love that you said trust. We say that trust, transparency, and time, because you've invested time. Those are the elements of togetherness. So if you want someone to show up for you, you have to show up for them. Bottom line.
So true.
It is so true. That's a good one.
Samira?
And I'm gonna piggyback on that and talk about the time to invest, but I'm inviting us all to invest it in ourselves. Be still, do your personal development work, journal, meditate, figure out who you are, what you want, and what you stand for. So when you walk into rooms, you can kind of exude that authentic energy, and especially if you lead a team or a community or a group, you have to know who you are, because the tone is set at the top. And like we're all saying, not every community is for everybody, and that's okay. Collaboration Circle is for a certain kind of person and investor and family office and et cetera. And it's not for everybody, and that's okay. But it works because I know who I am, and I know what I am creating for the world and curating, and I'm a vessel for my people, right? And not everybody's my people, and I'm not everybody's people. But the reason I know that is because I take the time to be still so I can show up authentically, which allows me to show up for others so they can be seen, heard, and understood. So you have to start with yourself so you can show up for others and other communities and other people.
The whole idea, just wanted to say the whole idea of being still. Yes, give her a round of applause, because that was definitely, yeah, the whole idea of being still. And you and I have had conversations about this, and sometimes that has been really hard for me. But a couple of years ago, I spent some time in a leadership program, and I was out in the wilderness, and I had to sit by myself for 6 hours. No phone, no nothing. And I just sat there and I got really still. And in those 6 hours, I knew at the end of it, I had absolute clarity about what my mission is, what my purpose is in life. And the clarity is that I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. It's like, okay, I hear it, and so it's like, let me be the vessel to do the work that God put me here to do. I know what it is, and I'm going to stand in it. But until you get that stillness, it's hard to get that clarity.
And can I just add one comment on that? Yeah. By the way, if anybody in here is like, what are these people talking about? I remember when somebody told me to be still, I'm like, what is this crazy person talking about? I am a corporate tax M&A structuring lawyer and blah, 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 blah. And then the minute I was still, guess what happened? I quit my corporate tax law job, and the rest is history. And so we all know in our gut and in our being why we are on this planet and what we're supposed to be doing. The key is to get still and quiet enough so you can hear it. You have the same story.
Yeah. So, Kristen, you get the last word. You get to put an exclamation point on this.
Wow. Well, I think it's incredible that our final message is all very much tied with one another. So I was grinding for 20 years in the real estate industry, and it wasn't until COVID happened and the real estate market in New York City was shut down. And in that stillness, it was the first time that I was forced to stop, because it's hard for us to stop, right? It forced me to stop and almost immediately, it's when marble came out of me. And it flew out of me, and it became this new obsession. And if it hadn't been for being forced to stop, it may not be here right now, and I still might be grinding in real estate. And one of the things we're focusing on and we're amplifying in Marble Collective is legacy. You all have worked really hard to get where you are. This is not easy work. There's tremendous sacrifice. I was talking to Claire tonight. We both have 2 boys between 8 and 10 years old, and we're both trying to slow down to spend more time with them. I want us all to zoom out and think about our own legacies. The legacies that our kids are going to remember, the legacies that our grandkids or nieces and nephews, that the next generation is going to be left with from our trail. We're in the business of capturing your legacy in Marble Collective so that future generations can continue to find inspiration from that legacy. I just want to thank you both for creating the communities, your own unique communities that you've created, for Linda, for bringing the 2 sides of this country, the division, together in conversation, because when we have conversation, we realize that our thought process and what our needs are and our wants aren't so different, right?
We all want the same things. We all want the same thing. So thank you for inviting me to be a part of this. You talk about legacy. I have to say, my most important legacy is my beautiful, amazing daughter, Lindsay, who's here tonight. I love you. I love you so much. And I am the proudest mom in the world. Thank you for flying in from Colorado to be here with us this weekend. And the work that we do is for our children and our grandchildren, and to leave this world a better place. And we're all a part of it, and so are you. And thank you so much for spending your time with us this evening.
Thank you for showing up.
Thank you.